All right, thank you so much. This is Gurpal Singh from Gurpal Education. Once again, we are going to start a new subject in paper second. So we have already covered five different subjects for commerce and management as well, like business statistics. After that, we did um, many business management, then business economics as well. Then we did the business environment, and recently we have completed international business as well. So coming in this series, this is the next subject. This is going to be financial management, and I must tell you, this is a very high scoring subject. So this is going to be the very introductory lecture regarding financial management, in which I am going to teach you regarding basics of financial management. After that, I shall tell you what are the different terminologies involved in it, which are very basic. And most importantly, we shall talk about the objectives of financial management. And after that, you shall be getting a complete uh, example on the basis of which you can easily comprehend what the next lectures are going to be about. So we shall provide in detail format each and everything, whatever shall be covered in the upcoming video lecture. So this is going to be very important lecture from point of view for whole of the financial management. So I hope you would enjoy it. Now I'm just going to share the screen with you. So just see and enjoy. All right, everything is done now. So I hope you would be watching a slide in which basics of financial management. This has been written. This is going to be our next subject. I think 4 or 5 subjects we have already covered. So this is going to be the next one, and we shall be trying our best to complete this vast topic as soon as possible, so that it becomes very helpful for us to gain knowledge and gain our scores as well. So as far as financial management is concerned, I must tell you, this is one of my favorite subject, and this is the one subject in which I am doing my for which I am the student of philosophy of doctorate or PhD. So this is the specific area which is a very high scoring area, very high scoring, because if your concepts are clear, then you can gain 2 out of 2 marks for any question. Okay, so now what we have to do, there are some, we can say, levels on the basis of which we have to understand regarding the financial management. This is going to be the very introductory lecture of that. This is the first one. I shall be talking about features, importance, or why we have to study that, what are the objectives of financial management. So all these things are going to be covered in this specific lecture. And when we talk about financial management, as the name suggests, this is a relating to management of your finances. And this subject, the knowledge of this subject assumes that you are an entrepreneur. You are an entrepreneur. So this is the basic assumption of this subject, that whoever is studying this subject, it is assumed that he is an entrepreneur. So you have to think like an entrepreneur. So you have to decide, first of all, what you do. You have to decide what to do. Like if you are gonna start a new business, so first of all you have to come up with an idea. Okay, after that you have to think that how you can raise funds for starting your venture. Okay, so this is the second thing you have to do. After that you have to study or decide what could be the share of all the persons or all the partners attached with your company. After that you have to think about how you are going to use how you are going to use your funds. These are available to you. And after that you have to decide how much should be the working capital of your company. And after that, obviously, you have to decide how much share to all the parties. Okay, so I'm not directly coming toward this specific subject. I have just taken a very hypothetical example. Okay, because this is the system of our study. First of all, if you understand this specific example, the complete structure of financial management shall become very easy for you. So what's that? Here is you are going to start a new business venture. Okay, new business venture. So first of all, what you have to do, you have to come up with an idea. Okay, so what kind of a business you want to start up in? And this is very obvious thing, an individual cannot invest very large amount of money in a specific venture. So obviously he has to raise funds. Okay, he has to raise funds. So when we talk about the idea only, okay, so idea only, under for understanding the idea, you have to study the objectives of a financial management. Okay, and after that, when we talk about raising of funds, then in this case you have to have the knowledge of sources of finance from which you can get the required funds to be invested in your business. And after that, you have to decide the shares for the individual partner, for which you have to study, or you have to have the knowledge of capital structure of your company. And after that, you have to find how you are going to use these funds, how you are going to use these funds. So for that, you must have the knowledge of capital budgeting, like what you want to purchase. Okay, what kind of assets should you invest in? So these kind of decisions should be covered in capital budgeting. After that, how much capital should be readily available to you all the times whenever you need? So this is, for this you must have the knowledge of working capital requirements. Okay, and finally, how much share you should give to your original owner? For that, you must have the knowledge of dividend decisions. So now you can simply see that in just one example, I have given you the complete detail of financial management. So irrespective of your current area of study or your current stream, like you would be of management, you would be of commerce, you would be of we can say home science, or political science, or anything. If you want to pursue something new, then obviously you must have the knowledge of finances. Knowledge of finances is a prerequisite, and this is the subject which I think and I believe that each and everyone should study, so that if they are not gonna start a career in this specific field, at least they must have the knowledge to manage their own finances as well. Like you must be having funds. Okay, I don't know what's the present level of your structure. Okay, you could fall in any category. You could fall in upper class or higher upper class or middle standard, or anything. Okay, but you must have a funds. Irrespective of your levels of fund, you must know how to invest that and where to invest that. And if you are gonna start something new, then obviously you must have knowledge of all these things. Having knowledge all these things make you very informative investor, so that you can increase your returns. Okay, you can increase your returns. So in this way, so basically what happens, I'm just gonna out of line, but I have to discuss this with you. Basically what happens, whenever a household have his funds, its funds, like you may be having 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs or 5 lakhs or any amount in a with you. Okay, so the basic preference is always to go for fixed deposit. Okay, basic preference is always to go for fixed deposit. Like what you do, you just take your money, you go to a bank. So this is the very easily and feasible option, which is always preferred by the household. But what happens, I must tell you, this is not the only option. There are so many options, okay, which can give you better and higher returns than the fixed deposit. Presently, the average rate of return of fixed deposit is 4.9% only. Okay, so that ultimately means if you have invested 1 lakh of funds right now today, then you would be earning 1 lakh 4,900 rupee after the end of 1 year. And if you account for the inflation, then ultimately the real value of your money would have decreased much. uh, okay, so in this way, there are, so what you must do in order to get high returns, you must explore the better options and avenues for you, for making the investment. So this is also a part of a financial management. Although from our exam point of view, we have to study only these things, but why I have discussed with you all, just for the sake of giving the importance of this subject, that this is a very vast, irrespective of your stream, irrespective of whatever you go for in your future, but you must know how to manage your own funds. If you know that, I must tell you, you can get higher returns. Recently, I'm just giving you example. A lot of you just watch the uh, status on the WhatsApp being posted by me on a regular basis nowadays. You can see there is the very great level of fluctuations in the market. Okay, great level of fluctuations. Like some of the stocks are offering very high returns because these are very fluctuable. If you would have invested 10,000 rupee, 10,000 rupee, uh, just 15 days, 15 or 20 days, I'm just taking that figure because I don't know exactly right now. If you would have invested uh, 10,000 rupee 20 days back in a specific stock, I'm just writing here its name, that is Yes Bank, then it would have become 13,000 rupee right now. It would have become this much. Okay, and after that it becomes this much, then you could just sell all these because you could take it on a delivery basis. Then now just make the analysis. So that ultimately means investment of 10,000 for just 20 days could make you earn. Although a risk is there, the risk is always there, because risk, if you wish to get the higher returns, then obviously you have to take the risk. But you can see the kind of return, this is more than 30% return, this is around 30% return. Okay, so no other option. Although there are so many investment avenues, but higher the risk, higher the return, this is obviously the case. Okay, so you could have earned 3,000 with just investment of 10,000, and that too in just 20 days. Okay, so in case of other investment options, for 1 year you have to wait for 365 days just for getting the return of 4.9%, that originally devalues the real value of your money. So just talked about, I think that was much more than required for telling you the importance of knowing about the financial management. But from exam point of view, what we have to consider, I think I have already given you the detail. First of all, we shall be talking about the objectives of financial management, then importance, then all the things necessary, and one by one these shall become one chapter, one separate lecture. Okay, whatever the things I have told you, just see yourself as an entrepreneur. And when you see yourself as an entrepreneur, you have to decide about the different things. Okay, like ideas, how to get capital, how to decide share, how to invest money, and how to decide the shares, and how to pay dividends. So all these things shall ultimately become one chapter, and we have to study these from our exam point of view. So I hope you would have got the complete idea of what I'm going to do right now. So in this video lecture, I think I have taken much of the time for clearing you why we have to study this. Now you would have got the idea. I'm just going to share with you everything. So what do we mean by business finance actually? Money required for carrying out business activities is called business finance. Okay, whatever the money is required. So this is business finance. So finance is needed to establish any kind of business, to run it, to modernize it, to expand it, to diversify, or anything. You need money. Obviously, you need money. And the provision of money is known as funds or finance. Availability of adequate finance is very crucial for survival and growth of a business. So this is very important thing. After that, we have to study the scope of business finance. So we know that business finance, the scope I have already told you, scope of business is finance is much wider than one can think about. Okay, because each and everyone is concerned about earning money. You have to earn money for making better kind of living. Okay, but what happens, people do earn money, do earn a lot of money, but they don't know how to use their money properly, because money can earn money only if this is floating, if this is saved. If this is saved, then what you do, if your money is saved, then it destroys ultimately. But if this is liquidated, if this is in a circle, then ultimately money can earn money. This is the simple logic. Okay, and I must tell you, a very great book. Okay, because this is the thing which I usually do, which, because whatever we do, we have to share with you as well, so that your knowledge can also improve. I'm just going to give you a name of a book. Okay, I have this book. If anyone need, you can you can purchase it from a nearby, and if you need its soft copy or version, I have that, I can give you. Okay, so the book name is Rich Dad and Poor Dad. It tells you, it completely changes your mindset from being in the middle class family to think like a rich personal. Okay, so money is needed everywhere. So business finance studies, analyzes, examines wide aspects related to acquisition of funds. From, we have to acquire the funds for business and allocates those funds to different segments. We have to invest that. For that, we have to study the business finance. There are various fields covered by business finance. Okay, some of these are, we can say, the first field is financial planning and control. For that, we have to study business finance. We have to plan our finances, like what to purchase, what to buy, where to invest, and we have to control our finances as well. We are not supposed to make a larger portion of our investment in only some specific areas. So a business firm must manage and make their financial analysis and planning. To make these plannings and management, the manager should have knowledge about the financial situation of the firm. Okay, so the first scope of the business finance is to plan your finances and control your finances. You must know how to plan that, and you must know how to control your investment in a specific area. Then the second is, this is financial statement analysis. So why we study business finance? Just in order to get the information regarding your financial statements. And financial statements are usually considered only of three types. Okay, so first we can consider the trading account. If you run a manufacturing concern, okay, and if you don't concern, then financial statements are only of two types. The first is profit and loss account, and the second one is balance sheet only. Okay, so the other ones are the ancillary financial statements only. Okay, these can be considered as cash flow statements, after that fund flow statement, and after that ratio analysis as well. So one of the scopes of business finance is to analyze the financial statements as well. Okay, so this statement consists of financial aspects related to promotion of business, administrative difficulties in a way of expansion, necessary adjustment for rehabilitation or anything. Okay, so this specific example has taken into consideration the policy structure as well, because at the end of the year, or at the new capital issue, a company has to issue their prospectus, and they have to make the projection. So they have to make their projections regarding the upcoming business ventures, like Zomato has done a few days back. So for that, you have to make the analysis of your financial statement, and it can be done only by the person who have the knowledge of basics of finances. Okay, so this is why it is said that this is also the scope of business finance, to learn financial statement analysis. And the third one is obviously the working capital budget. Working capital. So what's the working capital? I've already told you. Suppose you have got 1 lakh rupees as the total capital. Okay, you went to the venture capitalist, you told him your idea, and you successfully you managed to get the fund of 1 lakh rupees. Okay, then obviously you shall not invest whole of your money to buy assets or to buy machinery, obviously some of the portion like 20% or 30% you shall keep a reserve with you, so that when in case of any kind of exigency or emergency you can use these funds. This is not, these funds are known as working capital budget or working capital funds. Okay, so in this example only, suppose you have kept 30% of your budget with you. This is known as 30. This is calculated to be 30,000 rupee, and the rest of the amount you invest to buy the asset so that you can make your products to be sold in the market. So that 70,000 allocation of 70,000 is decided by you, and that decision, these kind of decisions are known as capital budgeting decision, for which we have to study the separate chapter. And regarding this 30,000, this is the working capital management decisions, regarding which we have to take the separate lecture and separate chapter as well. So I hope you have got the idea of third scope of a business finance, that it completely makes you aware regarding capital, working capital budgeting system. So the financial decision making that relates to current assets or short-term asset is known as working capital management. I hope you have got the idea, okay? Because I genuinely believe that if not the contemporary, but at least the basic knowledge you are having regarding the accountancy. We have not started that subject, but we will be covering that as soon as possible after financial management, if time be there. I think scopes we have covered. Okay, now we have to study the nature and significance of a business finance. Significance or importance, I think I've already told you. All these things, why I'm teaching you, these are not that much relevant, okay, because there are very rare, only 50% probability is there that the question can be asked from all the things covered in this specific lecture. But why I am discussing with you all these, the only reason being if your basics are very clear, understanding regarding the upcoming lectures shall become very easy for you. So when we talk about significance of a business finance, that means for effectively carrying out various activities, business require finances, which is called business finance. Hence, business finance is called lifeblood of any business. So if you have a provision of money, then this is lifeblood of any business, and you can run your business smoothly. So a business would get stranded if you don't have that, then it would be stranded unless there are sufficient funds available for utilization. And if you have sufficient funds, then you can easily run your business. Otherwise you will be stranded or you'll be stuck somewhere. Then talking about broad, if we're broadly talking into consideration the definition of financial management, we can simply take the definition of Guthman and Doggle. They told that the financial management means activity concerned with planning, raising, controlling, administering of funds used in business. So a lot I have already discussed, but this is the thing, at least one definition was to be added. First, I told you what's the business finance and why we have to study that, what's the scope of that, what's the importance of that. Now I have shown you one of the important definition regarding financial management. So this is all about planning, raising, controlling, and administering your funds in a way so that you get much and higher returns. Then this is the most important topic. Okay, if the question is asked from this specific video lecture topic, that would be regarding objectives of financial management. These are only two objectives of financial management. The first is profit maximization, wealth maximization. You manage your funds, in a way so that it maximizes your profits. Okay, if we are talking about individual person, like why do you invest, why do you make the investment in fixed deposit? The only reason being you think that fixed deposit is better option than a saving deposit, because a saving deposit do not earn you the greater level of returns in comparison with the fixed deposit. Like in saving deposit, maybe you are earning only around 3 to 3.5 percent of return. Okay, but in case of FD you are earning 4.9% return, but your funds are blocked for a complete 1 year or any time period as per the policy norms. Okay, so this is your profit. Okay, and your wish is always to increase that, and this is very obvious, and this should happen with everyone should be concerned about raising their funds and increasing their profit. So the first objective of financial management, if we concern, if we take this example from any point of view, like from individual's point of view or from business point of view, that is the maximization of a profit. And the second one is obviously the wealth maximization. Okay, I'll talk about wealth maximization when its time comes. Okay, so first, regarding profit maximization, I have already told you. Okay, so this is when we talk about only profit, that ultimately means net profit, whatever is left with you after paying all the expenditure. Okay, so neither we are talking about gross profit or any kind of profit, but we are talking about net profit only. So when profit word is written, then obviously that means net profit. Very often maximization of profits is concerned to be main objective of a financial management. So this is the main objective. It is said the profit maximization is simple and straightforward objective. So it also ensures the survival and growth of a business. But the modern authors on financial management have criticized the goal of a profit maximization. But even if they have criticized, it shall always remain the main focus. So Ezra Solomons have raised objections against objective of profit maximization, but that doesn't matter this much, because everyone is obviously concerned with earning more and more. The second one is wealth maximization. I must tell you why I didn't discuss at that time. The only reason being, I want to give you a very good example. Like you have invested your money because sometime, and this is very obviously the case, that you are having a very good product, or you have manufactured, you wish to set up a plant for manufacturing a product which you which you genuinely believe that is going to capture whole of the market, and this is a very good business idea. But in 95%, 95 to more than 98% of the cases, it happens that you are short of finances or short of funds and for that reason number of startups just fails. You go to the venture capitalist, you just tell them your idea, and if you easily if you can get the money, then you can start up your business. Okay, so this is how the companies starts. Okay, I hope you know the different kinds of businesses. Okay, different kinds of businesses. The first is business conducted by the individual. Okay, if I feel that I have sufficient funds to open the business, then I would be using my own money, and for that I shall be holding 100% of a stake in my business. This is known as an individual business or a business by an entrepreneur. Secondly, if you don't have the sufficient fund and if you believe that not much of the funds are required, then what you do, you just make 2 or 3 people as your partner. Then you get the money, and when the money is sufficient enough to be invested, you just stop making some other partners. So that kind of a business in which money is invested by more than 1 or 2 person, this is known as the business of partnership. And the last one is obviously the joint stock company. When you believe that 1 person, 2 person, 10%, 10 persons, or 20 people, 30 people, they cannot make this much investment, but because this is needed in crores, then what you do, you just set up a new joint stock company. So business have its only 3 forms. Okay, only 3 forms. I am talking now, I'm just coming towards the wealth maximization objective. What you do when you have raised money, we are taking the example of a joint stock company only. You have raised the money, then obviously you have the shareholders, and when you have the shareholders, obviously they seek something in a return. Why they are investing in your company? The only reason being they seek something in a return, and what they seek is ultimately the share in the profit. Okay, so you create the balance sheet. Okay, so first of all, you create the profit and loss account, and you get the net profit, and you just write on the debit side of the profit and loss your net profit. And in the balance sheet, after giving specific shares to reserved and surpluses, you just add this net profit balance to the capital of the shareholder, and that makes total of your capital, that is written on the liability side. Okay, so this is ultimately the wealth of your shareholders. Okay, wealth of your shareholders. So the second objective is to increase the wealth of shareholders, so that year on year basis this capital value should increase. So that is the uh, next or the second objective of all the firms. Okay, so I hope you have got the idea regarding wealth maximization. What is the wealth, whatever you have invested, like today you have invested 1 lakh rupee. Now I'm talking about individual only. You 1 lakh only. After 1 year your money has become 1 lakh of 5,000. This is your wealth, and this is an increment of 5,000. We do not take into as a profit while studying the financial management. So this is your wealth. Okay, so after next year, after the end of the current fiscal, you got 1,10,000. This is 5,000 more addition. So this is to be studied from that point of view, like addition in the capital, which is written on the liability side of a balance sheet. So this is the actual wealth of your shareholders. This should increase. The capital level should increase on year basis. So this is the second objective that was propounded by Ezra Solomon. So I hope you have got the great idea. Okay. So just moving further, the further scope of financial management, you know everything. I have already discussed the names of all chapter. The first is investment decisions. For that, we have to study capital budgeting, regarding which we have to take a separate lecture, obviously. The second are financing decision, what to purchase, or what should be the composition of composition or mix of assets. What should be your financing decision is concerned with the financing mix or financial structure of the company. Like we have to decide our capital structure as well. So about this we have to study a separate chapter. So all these things like sources of finance, methods of getting funds, alternative sources, flotation of securities, investments, all these things we have to study in under different chapter. So first are considered to be investment decision, second financing, and this is the dividend decision. So when you have earned net profit after a year, how much portion of this net profit is to be given to your shareholders? Okay, as in the form of a dividend. So for that we have to study the separate chapter, which is dividend decision, and this is very high scoring, very beautiful, and very important chapter as well. So this is the dividend decision, and you will have knowledge of dividend decision only if you have basic knowledge of financial management. And I think this is the last one. This is regarding working capital decision, about which I think I have already given you the sufficient example. So if we have raised 1 lakh rupees from venture capitalist, you just spare or reserve some of the money so that it could be used at the time of exigency. So these are working capital decision, about which we have to take a separate lecture, separate class, because this is a separate chapter. So I hope all in all you have got the idea regarding what is there in financial management to be gone through. So this is all about that. So